Good morning, everybody. I'm Louise MacPhail. Welcome to this morning's webinar. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Cardiff Met. Today's session is called Get Set for Cardiff Met. It's an introduction to academic culture in the UK, which is of course what you will experience here at Cardiff Met. Firstly, I'll introduce ourselves. I'm Louise MacPhail, that you can see there, and my colleague Njide Ezechi is also pictured in this photograph, which was taken before the pandemic. That's why we're so close together on the picture. So Njide is here on this webinar as well, together with me. She's behind the scenes and she is looking at any of your questions that you might have, and she will come on a little bit later to speak to you about that. Okay, so we are your international academic advisors. We are part of the global engagement team who've been looking after you during your arrival to Cardiff Met. And I'll just tell you a little bit about how we can help you during your studies before we then move into the academic culture information. We are here throughout your studies, not just induction. We are here throughout your whole degree programme at Cardiff Met. And we are here to help you with preparing your assignments, learning about critical thinking and including that in your writing, perhaps that might be new for you. We will help you with referencing and avoiding plagiarism, which is an important part of the writing process. And we will also help you with things like academic reading and researching for your assignments. So you might wonder, how will we do this? How can we offer you this help? Well, under the current circumstances, things are quite different for everybody, of course, with the pandemic situation. So the way that we're working at the moment is that we are offering video calls, individual video calls. We're calling them virtual tutorials. So they are available to all international students. You can book them. I'll tell you a little bit about how to book them later, but it's using a system called MetHub, which you will soon be using. And you can book an individual video call with us, and we will call you pretty much like this, only it will be one-to-one. We can chat about any aspect of your academic studies. Perhaps you might want to talk to us about an assignment you have, or maybe you have some doubts or some questions, or you simply want to improve your skills. So we're very happy and look forward to meeting you in those tutorials. We also have prepared lots of resources on our Moodle module, which we'll talk to you about later as well. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic for the webinar, which is academic culture in the UK. If we start with the idea of culture itself, what is culture? Well, the Cambridge Dictionary gives us a very nice definition here, which is it's the way of life, it's your customs, and it's the ideas shared by a particular group of people in a society. So it's also about your values. It's about the set of values, conventions, or social practices. And that can be in a society, in a large group of people, or a small group of people. So we all belong to a particular culture, depending on our backgrounds. Culture shock is something that can happen when you move from one culture to another, and it can be quite challenging at times. It's if you transition to a new environment. So, for example, you move to a new country, or like this, a new place of study. And you can experience feelings of culture shock when there are unexpected challenges. So maybe you encounter new customs, new traditions, new behaviours. Of course, the language might be different in the new country, particularly here if you've come from a different country, which where the first language is not English. New ways of thinking, new ways of learning and teaching. These are all possible challenges that you might experience as you come to study at Cardiff Met. And we know that they're not always easy, but we can help you overcome them. It's very, very common. Many students encounter those feelings, so you're not alone. And we are here to help you with many of these things. And the one particular aspect that we're looking at today is the aspect of learning and teaching. New ways of learning and teaching may be part of the changing culture that you experience as you are moving to Cardiff Met. So academic culture, it's the academic aspect of culture. Okay, so we're focusing on the learning and teaching as a particular feature of UK culture, and it might affect the academic behaviour. So how do students behave? How do lecturers behave in the UK versus in another country or in another culture? There will be differences, okay? And what I'd like you to do now is to just think about your own experience up until now, your own experience of studying and learning in your home country. Okay, so I'm not asking you to write anything down. I'm going to talk to you about a series of questions, and I'd like you to reflect and think about yourself and your own experiences as we do that. So here are those questions. As a student in your home country, as you were studying, did you experience mostly A's in this list? So did you memorise lots of information for your exams? Did you receive all of the information from the teacher that you needed to learn? Did you have to sit and listen carefully to the teacher during those lessons? And did you really only experience exams as an assessment form? Those 4 things are perhaps quite a traditional form of learning and teaching that many students may have experienced. If we look at the B options, perhaps you used and applied your knowledge to solve problems in your assessments. And did you have to conduct library research yourself to help your learning? Did you participate in class discussions? And did you do presentations, reports, essays, case studies? And maybe if you had those experiences, that would be quite different. That would be more of a student-led teaching experience and learning experience, more an experiential learning style. Now, of course, there are many different combinations of learning cultures around the world. There are not just A and B. I've just simplified it and given you 2 examples for the purpose of today's discussion. But the reason that I'm asking you to think about your own experience is because having an awareness of your own culture can help you to understand and feel comfortable within a new culture. Okay, so if you can reflect on your own experiences and recognise some of the features and think, oh yes, we did this, we did this, we did this, that was our academic culture at home, then you can look at the academic culture here a little bit more objectively, and you can think, okay, this is similar, this is different, and this is how I need to operate within this culture. It can help you to make that transition. Okay. So as we've stated, your experience of learning is based and is influenced by the academic culture of your home country. You might find that there are some similarities here in the UK. There might be some differences, or there might be a mixture. But that awareness makes it helpful to adapt. Okay, we're not saying that one learning style is wrong and our learning style is right. There is no such thing as wrong or right. It's just differences in culture. We're certainly not saying forget everything that you've already learned. Absolutely not. You come with valuable experience, with many skills, and we want you to bring them to your studies and develop as needed, and upskill even further if you wish, or if needed in different areas. So we build upon any of your previous learning experience, and we help you to grow into new areas if needed and if desired. Okay. So this diagram is to show you a little bit about the features of academic culture at Cardiff Met, being of course in the UK. So some of the symbols there, we've got group work, reflective learning, critical thinking, self-directed study, and variety of assessment methods. So in brief, this is a little summary of the styles of learning and teaching that you might experience here at Cardiff Met on your programme. What we will do over the coming slides is we're going to look at each of these individually, and to introduce you to them if they are new to you. Okay. Now, I need to be really clear, we're not trying to teach you all of these skills today. Absolutely not, because it's too much and it's not necessary just yet. The purpose of this today is to introduce you to these ideas on a very basic level, so that you recognise those words, those terms, and you have a very basic idea of what they are. And then as you move forward into your studies and beyond induction week, then we can work more closely with you to teach you these individual skills as needed. So today is simply an introduction. Okay. So if we start with group work. Now, group work is a common feature of studying in the UK. There is a cultural belief here that working together and building and learning learning within a social group helps to expand your knowledge and develop your skills. So there will be group work activities on most programs, and your ability to work in a group is probably going to be assessed at some point. What that means is that there may be group activities that you do together, and there will be a group assessment at the end, maybe a group presentation or a group project. So that will be something that will be experienced here at Cardiff Met, most likely. It can be quite good fun, and it helps you to build your network of friends and contacts at the university. It's also really good because it helps to prepare you for your future career, your professional career, where most likely you will be working in teams on different projects, depending on your role. So this is the start of your team working, or a continuation of your team working skills that you already have. So the next one is reflective learning, and you can see there the picture of the student looking in the mirror. And the reason that we chose that image is because it is to represent looking at yourself. Reflective learning is a very particular type of study skill, and it's about looking at yourself as a learner. Okay, so you're thinking about, how am I progressing? How am I learning? It's a little bit like looking in the mirror, and it's about looking at, how will I improve my skills further? What do I need to do? What can I do well? What am I less confident in? How can I change that? So looking at yourself as a learner and being quite objective about what you need to develop. That's what reflective learning is. And many programs will encourage students to keep a reflective diary or a reflective journal or a reflective log. All of these different words mean pretty much the same thing, where you are asked to keep a record of your learning progress. You might, add informally different things into that to make a record of your learning development, or challenges, or achievements. Okay, and sometimes that might form part of your assessment, your ability to look at your own learning and think about how to improve it. Might be something that you gain some marks for. Okay, so critical thinking is the next slide, and this is a huge topic and one that we certainly can't cover in one short session today. But I just want to introduce it to you so that you have heard about it and that you are able to recognise it as something important for your studies. So let's look at these images. So we have a person there who's thinking critically, and we've got the jigsaw puzzle piece, we have the light bulb, and we have a magnifying glass. So if we start with the light bulb, this represents the idea of asking questions about a topic. So when you do critical thinking, you ask questions to yourself about the topic. Why is this happening? What's going on there? Is that, what's the reason for that? You have to interrogate and ask questions. So the light bulb represents that part of critical thinking. The magnifying glass there is representing the idea that when we do critical thinking, we have to closely examine something. We have to focus closely and look for the detail, okay? Because sometimes there's importance in those details. And finally, the jigsaw puzzle, that represents the idea that when we are critical thinking, we need to look for how things fit together, what the relationships that are between different things. So if I change this, how will it affect this? What's the relationship? Is there an effect? cause and effect. Okay, so these three things, looking at things closely, examining them with the magnifying glass, questioning, asking questions about the topic, and interrogating the data a little bit, and looking at how different things affect each other in any particular academic situation. These are all different things that you will do in critical thinking. Okay, in a nutshell, in summary, critical thinking is really about asking why and how something is happening. Why is that? How is that? Don't just tell us that it's happening. Don't make a simple descriptive statement. Tell us, well, why is that the case? How is that the case? And give reasons. That's the start of the ideas of critical thinking. And as you move through your programme and you move towards doing some assessments, there will be an expectation that you show some critical thinking skills in your writing. Okay, so we are here to help you with this. We know that this is quite a complex and challenging topic, but we are here to help you to break it down and to show you how you can use those skills and demonstrate those skills in your writing in order to help you to gain the maximum marks that you can reach. Okay. Move on to the next one. So this is self-directed study or independent study. This is something that students are expected to do. You will have to do lots of reading on your own. Okay, that's possibly one of the biggest surprises for international students arriving in the UK to university. There is an expectation that you do lots of reading, and where do you start with that reading is a common question. Well, the good news is that you will be given reading lists by your module leaders. So you will be given a list of recommended reading. It's often on the, it's called a module descriptor document, which you'll find on Moodle in the essential information. So you will be given a list of recommended reading, and it's your job then to use that list and to look and read some of those resources. It's your responsibility. Nobody will check that you've done it, okay? Nobody will check up on you. But if you don't do it, it will be difficult to pass the course without that reading, okay? So it is a big part of your studies here. Okay, and then this last slide is just to highlight that here in the UK, you will expect to have a variety of assessment methods, and we've listed a number of them there that you might be involved with. So you may write an essay, you may write a report. There's the question about what's the difference between an essay and a report. Well, we can help you with that. We can help you to learn those differences. You might do a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. You might be working on a case study, like a real world example. So, for example, if you are a student in the School of Management, studying a business related course, you might be asked to imagine that you are writing a report for your marketing manager in your job about how to launch a product in a new market, and you will be asked to look at this product, to look at the market information and make some recommendations. So it's giving you the opportunity to experience real world problems, real world issues in your learning, to prepare you for that career ahead of you. So that's kind of a little bit about how case studies might work. Group projects we've talked about, often presentations or research projects. Literature reviews as well. You might be asked to do a critical review of some of the reading on your programme. So that might be read some journal articles on a particular topic and do a critical review of them. Maybe you are asked to review a particular chapter in a book, or maybe you will be learning about a particular theory or a particular model in your field of studies, and you have to write a review about that. What are its strengths? What are its weaknesses? How can it be applied? How is it best used? That kind of thing. Okay, so there is a variety of assessment methods. And the reason for this is because it's good to test everybody in different ways. So people have very different skills, different strengths, different weaknesses. So this variety of assessment methods gives everybody the chance to shine, gives everybody the chance to excel. in the area that's most comfortable for them. And it also gives everybody a challenge as well, no doubt. Okay. Now, all of this might feel quite new. It might feel a little bit intimidating, but as the slide says, please don't worry, we are here to help you, okay? Academic culture in the UK may feel difficult and strange at first if it's very new, but I promise it will get easier. And it is an opportunity to develop new skills and to build on those skills that you bring here together as well. In terms of myself and Injida, it's our job to teach you academic skills and help you improve your academic skills if you wish, as needed, okay? So as I mentioned earlier, you can do that in two different ways. You can log on to MetHub. Now you can find MetHub on the website, the university website, the student side of it. Met Central. You can click on the MetHub icon and you will simply need to search appointments, and then within appointments you select international academic advice. Okay, international academic advice, and you can then select any one of our appointments available, and we have lots of different times available during the week, and you can just select the one that's most convenient for you, and then we will email you a link. And that link will invite you to join a video call on Teams, Microsoft Teams, at the time that you booked. Okay, so it's very simple. Once you've got used to it, you'll find it's really easy. And we can have a friendly, informal chat about your studies as often as needed throughout your programme. Okay. The other thing is, as I mentioned earlier, is that we do have a module on Moodle. It's called, again, International Academic Advice, or the code is int_resources if you see that. Now, over the course of the next week or so, Injida and I will be busy enrolling you onto that module, because that will not happen automatically. It's something that we have to do manually to add you to that module. So we will be doing that as a priority over the coming days. So within a week or so, when you log into Moodle, and you click on your home page on Moodle, you will see your list of modules that you are studying. And amongst those, you will see International Academic Advice. And if you click on that, you will find all of our information and our videos on there. Okay. You will also find on there a link that you can click to book an appointment. The last point there is really important to highlight to you. Right? We won't know that you need our help until you tell us. Okay, this is another cultural issue in that in your home country, maybe your teachers know what help you need. Maybe they know when to offer support. Maybe they just know what you require at any given time. In the UK, that culture is quite different, and there is more responsibility on the students to ask for help. You need to tell us that you want that help. We will not know. Okay. Once we know, and once you tell us that you need help, we are there for you and we're very happy to support you. But you must make that first contact with us, either by email or via MetHub, any of those. You just need to tell us that you need help, even if you're not sure what help you need. So, for example, we get students who make an appointment to speak to us, and we start the video call on Teams, and we say, oh, how can we help? And sometimes the answer is, I don't really know what help I need. I just feel a bit uncertain. I just feel unsure what to do. That's absolutely fine. We will work with you and we will help you to identify what to do next. We will give you an action plan. We will help you to work out what to focus on and when. Okay, so even if you don't know exactly what you need yet, it would be helpful to have a chat with us because we can help to direct you. Okay. Just to touch on the idea of lectures and seminars currently in this situation. Now, before the pandemic, obviously there were quite significant differences between lectures and seminars and how this works. But currently, under the circumstances, things will be a little bit different, as you will know. And so there will be a more of a focus for online learning at the moment. it's really important that you know everybody is working so hard to make this the best possible learning experience for you. And of course, as soon as it's safe and possible to do so, there will be, you know, a return to more campus-based study for everybody. But at this point, there is that focus on online learning. But please rest assured, you will still participate in discussions. You will still have seminar activities. Make the most of these opportunities to join discussions and to meet your classmates and to network. Those learning experiences are still happening, even with the online context. So please make sure that you try and engage in those. Even if it feels a bit different and a bit strange at first, you will soon get used to it. And in red there, please remember to follow your timetable, not your friend's timetable. Everybody gets an individual timetable, and you may be in slightly different groups, because for seminars particularly, the groups will be smaller so that there is more opportunity for discussion. In the lectures, they may be huge groups because that's a slightly different style of learning. So make sure you check your own timetable to know that you are in the correct group at the correct time. Okay. The end slide there just gives you some references. So I just wanted to recommend a couple of resources for you, particularly the top one, Academic Culture, A Student's Guide to Studying at University, is a really good resource. And then I've just made the reference there to some information that we borrowed from Sydney University in these slides. Okay. What I'm going to do next is, I'm going to hand over to Injida shortly. What she's been doing is taking any questions that you have, and she'll be offering some answers to those questions from the Q&A, and she'll introduce herself to you as well. So for now, I'll say goodbye and thank you for listening, but I'm handing straight over to Injida in a moment, and she will be here to say hello just now.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me clearly. There seems to be a bit of an echo. Lou, are you catching an echo? There seems to be a bit of an echo. Hopefully that's clear now. That's great. That should be better now. I am the second of your international academic advisors, and as Louise has said, my name is Injida, and we work very, very closely together, providing academic support to international students. Now, I have been looking at some of your questions and have been able to group them into some sort of common areas. Now, what I've not done is I've not responded to the individual questions because some of them are quite similar, and I thought it's probably easier for me to give more of an explanation and clarification. If you have a question that doesn't fall into these categories and you feel you have not really received the answer you required, then please don't hesitate to email us and we'll respond to you individually. Okay, so here are some of the main questions that people asked. Now, first of all, was about the essay, the issue of essays. There was quite a bit of concern with regards to essays. Somebody said that they've never written a long essay before. Will they need to do that? So I'm going to say briefly, no matter what program you're on, you are definitely going to have to write an essay at some point. And these will be long essays, so you might not have the experience of having done these before. So what I'd like to say, just to reiterate what Louise has said, we are here for specifically that purpose. We are here because we our role is created really on the understanding that lots of international students haven't got the experience that is required for studying or writing essays according to UK academic convention. So we are here to help you. We'll be able to assist you with the planning, with the structuring, organisation of ideas, how to go about research, how to fully understand what's required in the whole process. We'll be able to tell you how to incorporate critical thinking and all these other academic skills that you'll be required to demonstrate. So the only thing that we advise you to do is come early in the process. Come as soon as you've got that question, you've been given the question. Before you rush to start trying to find resources, you'll have to fully understand what is required of you. So come to us early in the process. No question is too trivial, and no question to us is too little for us to answer. So come to us. You're advised to do this so that we can help you get started on the right track, because one thing we will not be able to do is proofread an essay at the end. We often have students coming to us and saying, I've written this 3,000 word essay, can you proofread it for me? And the answer to that is no, that's not what we do, but we will help you along in the process. Another question that was asked was about exams. Will there be exams or just essays? And there's very likely you're going to have a combination of different assignments, especially in these times where it's going to be important to give everybody the opportunity to excel according to their preferred learning style. So there will be essays, and they're very likely to be exams. Now, it's important because every program is distinct, every program is different. So it's really, really important that you engage early on with Moodle, because this is where you'll get all the information that's specifically relevant to the module that you're studying, the program that you're on. And here you'll get all the information about the assignment, exams, etc. And this is how you will know what is required of you. So really and truly make sure that you engage with Moodle. All the information for every single module is available on Moodle, and you really have to go through each and every one to know what the requirements are and how exams are going to be taken, are going to be organised in these times. Some students were a little bit concerned about independent study. Once again, this might be a new concept, not to worry about it. Independent study means really that time that you are studying on your own and not just relying on lectures. And not just relying on content the lecturer gives you. And the reason for this is because if you can imagine, if you're studying a topic, it's very unlikely that that topic will be covered in its entirety in just 1 hour, because there are many different perspectives to different ideas and different theories. And what you'll be required to do is really discover your learning for yourself. So it's really important that as soon as you get your academic study timetable, you are able then to make a private timetable, a personal study timetable. Students look at the gaps in their timetable and think, yeah, that's free. You haven't paid all this money to have all those free slots in your timetable. Those slots in your timetable are for what we call personal independent study. And if this is a challenge for you, if you're not sure how to go about it, this is also something that you can book an appointment with us to help you solve. We will help you arrange, if you like, manage your time so that you can incorporate essential time or time for essential independent study. There are some other questions that are not necessarily related to this topic that we've discussed before. One thing I'd like to say at this point is, especially in these strange times with the pandemic and the different approach to academic study this term, I'd like to say, make sure you don't struggle and make sure you don't feel alone. There are so many ways that you can engage with help and support. Okay, we are your international academic advisors. As Louise has said, you can book appointments with us. If you book an appointment with us and it's not something that we can solve or something that we can handle, we'll be able to steer you on to the right resource. Okay, try to avoid being isolated, take the initiative, communicate with other students. Even if you're not going to see them every day in lectures, you can still communicate and still get in touch with them virtually. Okay, make sure you engage with Moodle, join discussion boards on Moodle, get in touch with with other academic support. You've got personal tutors, you've got your course tutors as well. So these were the main points that students had queries about, and so I think I've answered most of the topics that were raised. Yeah.
Sorry, there's a couple of others. If you would like me to just add some on, well, there've been a few later questions.
Okay.
Do you want to mute for a second and I'll just speak? Would that work?
Okay.
Am I back? I think I'm back. Hi. Right, so I just saw that when Injida was already speaking to you, a few later questions came up that are also important to mention. So One student said, "Good morning, since all the academic teaching will be held online," that's not the case for every programme, by the way, "and the lecture would be pre-recorded, how can we improve personal interaction with our module leaders regarding our doubts?" Okay. There will not, some cases might be all online at this point, some cases are not, okay, so it does depend on your programme. But what I will say is that you might have some pre-recorded lectures, but that might be given to you in the form of what's known as flipped learning. So what that means is you might be given a recorded lecture that you watch at home yourself in advance of a meeting online that is a live event, when you can have some interaction with your module leader and your other students to discuss and dig deeper into that topic. Okay, so you might look at the lecture material yourself online, recorded, and then at a slightly later date, you might join together for discussions and interaction. There will be many opportunities for interaction. That's something that's important, that is being built into every programme. Okay, so it's not just simply a case of videos. There will be meetings and live interaction for your learning. If you want to contact your module leader directly with a particular question or doubt, you can obviously email them. That will be the first and most obvious thing to do. As well, on your Moodle module, for that particular topic, you might find that there is a discussion board, and many programme directors and module leaders are encouraging students to use that discussion board to share questions that might be common to many others. You know, if it's a question that most people might wish to know the answer to, it's a good idea to share it on the discussion board, and you can have some interaction there with both the module leader and other students. And there may be other drop-in facilities, etc., that you can take part in. So I would really advise you to make the most of all of those opportunities. Don't miss anything that is scheduled, because it will be offering you those opportunities for contact. Okay. Somebody's raised a question that they have a problem with Teams. They have to log in anonymously rather than with their university credentials. That might just be something because it's the beginning of your enrolment, and maybe that might just fix itself quickly. But if it doesn't, you should speak to the IT help desk. You can email them, ithelpdesk@cardiffmet.ac.uk. They are the best people to advise you on technical advice like that. Okay, it may just be that there's a catch-up needed with the systems with your recent enrolment, and it may fix itself. But if not, IT will help you. Somebody else has asked, do we have a separate timetable for each student? Yes, everybody has their own personal timetable, so you must follow your own. And finally, somebody's asked about, it's not particularly relating to this topic, but it's a question about optional modules and pathways. You must contact your programme team directly about that. So that means either emailing the programme director or the programme administration team for advice on that, or checking on Moodle for information. I'm afraid we don't have information about optional modules at the moment here. Okay, Injide, shall I come back to you now? If I send you live again, Injide, just for you to say the last of your little piece, is that okay?
Yes, okay. Hello everybody, me again. So I think that's all the questions that we've had so far. I'm hoping everything has been answered now. If you think of something later on that you really desperately need an answer to, once again, I just suggest that you email us and we'll get back to you with answers for anything that you might think of later on. This has just been the first really of our webinars as a way of introducing ourselves to you and presenting a little bit of the service that we offer. Once again, please contact us individually via MetHub for virtual appointments, and we can see you in this format for one-to-one appointments. Remember that nothing is too trivial. Anything that is a concern to you, we consider a genuine concern. hopefully we'll see you on Friday. We have another webinar planned at 11 o'clock on Friday, and this is on self-motivation for online learning. As Louise said, not everything will be online. It really depends on the course that you're studying, but most of the programs will be, at least in this instance, as we get started with this semester, will be online. Lots of the modules will be online. And we've devised this webinar really just to help you get ahead in terms of motivation, how to motivate yourself for this type of study that you hadn't anticipated, or is not your preferred, may not be your preferred learning style. So there are definitely ways that we can help you get ahead, and so we look forward to seeing you on Friday at 11 o'clock for another live webinar. So in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of your induction week, and we look forward to seeing you and spending time with you again on Friday. So that's it for the minute.